All right, for this final lesson for the GenevaCam, I'm going to finish dimensioning it and incorporate the template. So let's go ahead and see where we are here. So I've turned the construction off, and so we can get a better sense of what we're doing here. So now I'm just going to finish all this off. So if you missed anything, now's the opportunity. So right now I have my center line active. All right, so let's get some more dimensions. Let's turn that layer back on, and let's get some more dimensions here. And so I'll just dimension this. And again, when you do dimensions, it's important that you don't overlap, that you actually leave a space from the dimensions off the part. So the line should not actually be touching, the dimension line should not be touching the part. It should have a little gap. And so I'll go ahead and fix all this, but just be aware of that. All right, so when you snap from afar, you can very easily miss where you're putting those lines. All right, so let's go ahead and put the rest of the dimensions here. 2 inches, and again, I'm going to have to go back in and put the diameter at 2.5 inches there, and get all the radiuses. All right, so you want to just check with the final drawing, make sure that you have all the dimensions that you need here and everything's accurate. All right, let's do that one again. And so I'll drag that. We don't want it in the middle of the part. We want to have it snapping on the end, so that's fine. And the tolerances I've already set, so everything looks good here. All right, just verify everything. Now you see this diameter symbol here, and there's some ways to do this. AutoCAD's actually updated a lot of this. So if you double click on the text, you'll notice if I right click here, there's a symbol. And so if you're careful, you can actually add the symbol without it, but let's go ahead and it's deleting it. So we'll just go ahead to the symbol and select the diameter, and then I'll just manually type that in there, 2.5. So that's a nice feature. So I've double clicked the text, and then I can add those kind of symbols if you don't have them. You have to be very careful though when you do this, because if you change it later on, when you manually key it in, it doesn't always change to the new dimension. So you have to be very careful when you do this. So again, double click in there, right click and hit symbol, and you'll see diameter, and then go ahead and type in, this one is 8.00, and then click out of it. So that's a nice little feature. All right, and then we need to make the keyway notation here. So we go ahead and click, and you're going to do the leader, and then go ahead and select the center of it, click out of here, and the nice thing is you just basically click it, and then you go ahead and type in, it'll go to the left. All right, so we're going to go to manually type in 0.36 times 0.20 space keyway, and I can go back manually put this in later if I need to. So far so good. All right. Okay, so if you go to the title block now, here's the cool thing. So go ahead and type in viewport, and you want to make sure the viewport layer is turned on. If you haven't done it, we can actually change it very quickly later. So we'll go to single, and leave everything in wireframe, and say 2D, and say OK, and then you simply click and drag through the window that you want to display this item. All right. So nothing's scaled here, but if you're not sure you're in the right layer, what you can do is simply just click on that box, right click, and hit quick properties, and then you can select the layer you want to have it in. So right now it's in dimension. I'll go ahead and move that to viewport, right? And so what I did is I right clicked and I hit the properties, the quick properties, and so now it actually moved it to the separate layer, and that's actually very important that you're in the right layer here. Okay, so you will need to manually type all this in. I'm not going to do it all for you. You can certainly put your own name in there. But I do want to scale this, and I'm going to scale this to the drawing, which is 1/2 inch, right? And so it'll actually scale it for you. Excuse my graphics card here, but it'll go ahead and scale it, and everything should look fine. And make sure that then I'll go to the title block, and I just want to go ahead and type that in there. So I'm double-clicking here, and then I'm going to type in 1/2, and that's the scale. And scale is actually really important. If it's not to scale, the drawing will be written on the drawing not to scale, but we've just scaled this, which is a really great tool with an AutoCAD, and I'll go ahead and type in 1/2. And I'll click out of it. All right, so sometimes the graphic cards don't keep up with you, but we'll be okay here. All right. So then this is where you would put your name and all the information you'd need to. So now's the time you would go ahead and do that. So you might want to pause and put all that information in there if you haven't put it in already. So the date and the name at a minimum here. Okay, so that's in the title block lettering, that layer. All right, and so verify everything before you print this out. So in the model mode, you can see everything's here. And I've got these title blocks. So verify all your dimensions, and then you can go ahead and save it and print it out. And you've completed the GenevaCam exercise using the new template feature.